The Glory is a fairly new K-drama released on Netflix, and it follows the life of Moon Dong-eun, a woman who dedicates her entire life to seeking revenge on her high school bullies, or should I say high school tormentors and abusers. These kids should have been locked up immediately.
눈에는 눈으로, 이에는 이로, 파상은 파상으로. 때린 것은 때림으로 갚을지니 그건 너무 페어플레이 같은데요. 여러분.
우리 꼭 또 보자, 박연지.
In the first episode, we are introduced to Moon Dong-eun, a high school student who gets bullied every single day by her high school bullies, who are these somewhat rich delinquents whose group bonding activities include abusing and taking advantage of their fellow female classmates. Who are these group of delinquents, you may ask? That's a great question. Let's introduce these suckers. Now, first and foremost on the Who Do We Hate list is none other than the group's ringleader, Park Yeon Jin. Now, Park Yeon Jin is pictured to be the main villain amongst the other characters, as she literally guided her group of friends on exactly how to inflict harm on Moon Dong-eun. She even led the group of bullies to Dong-eun's house, torturing her and further abusing her as if, I don't know, bullying her every single day in school just wasn't enough. And being the ringleader of the group, you better believe her parents are what class? Wealthy, influential scumbags of the earth who need super nanny called on them, by the way, because why is your daughter a terrible human being? But you know, of course, when rooting for the rich and evil people of this world to become humbled, life only seems to get better for them. As an adult, she buys her way into a very successful career in news and broadcasting. She marries into an elite family and also has a daughter. Yeah, she got the career, the man, and the baby. Next up on the You Are Mentally Disturbed and Therefore Should Seek Counseling and Maybe Catch a Sexual Assault Charge or two is a guy by the name of Myeong Oh. We are first introduced to Myeong Oh as a very disturbed young man. He is the boy in the group who inflicts the most physical harm upon Moon Dong-eun, even essaying her, sexually assaulting her, various different times. Now, in terms of Myeong Oh's personal life, the viewers don't get to really see much of that, so we don't exactly know where he stands in social class. We don't know exactly if he's rich or poor or somewhere in the middle, but it doesn't seem as though he is that rich or that well off, because as an adult, he ends up working for the second guy in the group of bullies. His name is Jae Jun, and basically becomes his little errand boy and personal driver, and honestly isn't treated too well. And next we have Jae Jun, who has a very dangerous temper and, you know, can't help but violently swear around little girls who, oops, maybe his daughter. Now, in high school, Jae Jun isn't actually shown a whole lot interacting with Moon Dong-eun and taking part in the bullying, however, the man is still a piece of garbage. Stood there and watched while he played basketball, doing literally nothing, and even actually attempted to sexually assault Moon Dong-eun alongside Myeong Oh, in which thankfully he did not get a chance to. Now, Jae Jun and Yeon Jin actually dated in high school and were kind of the evil Bonnie and Clyde couple, if you know what I'm saying. Flash forward to Jae Jun's adult life. He is actually living a nice, lavish lifestyle as well, unfortunately, as he is the owner of a prestige country club that attracts mainly wealthy and influential people. Moving on to the last two bullies, who I'm going to introduce together because I think they're kind of irrelevant. But nonetheless, allow me to introduce you to the pitiful Sa-ra and Jae Jung. Now, Sa-ra was definitely one of those in the group who were more involved in being cruel and particularly more abusive toward Moon Dong-eun, and unfortunately, she too, like Yeon Jin, comes from a very wealthy family. As an adult, Sa-ra is still rich, is a full-time employed artist, and, well, is a drug addict. Then lastly, we have Sa-ra Hye Jeong. She's definitely depicted in the show to be the one friend in the group who is kind of on the outskirts and trying to fit in, and just kind of as a result wasn't really treated the best in the friend group. As an adult, not much changes for her actually. She doesn't come from a wealthy family like the others and is even a flight attendant, so of course she relies on the group's money to maintain this wealthy lifestyle, a lifestyle that she's so desperate to maintain that she even gets engaged to a man strictly for his money. So I've just introduced to you the bullies and kind of the hand they've played in bullying Moon Dong-eun as a high school girl, as well as a little flash forward into their adult lives to see just exactly how much they have to lose. But let's circle back around to our main girl, our protagonist in this story, Moon Dong-eun. Now, following the terrible bullying, mistreatment, torment, and abuse by her fellow classmates, Dong-eun actually drops out of school and begins working various different miscellaneous part-time jobs, just to get by, and all the while studying for her GED exam. Miss Mama's really sort of finds her footing in terms of, I guess, financial stability, even getting the opportunity to go to college and becoming a school teacher. This doesn't mean, however, that she's simply forgotten what those scumbags did to her in high school. In fact, her entire motivation since the last time she saw Yeon Jin and the others was to seek revenge. So Miss Mama's devises an incredibly elaborate and intricate scheme of payback and revenge that single-handedly promises to strip every single person who had a hand in her bullying and torment of everything they love, cherish, and have. Now, somewhere along the way, Dong-eun meets a few people who become actually very pivotal in helping her execute her devious, masterful plan of revenge. One of those people being a man by the name of Ju Yo-jung and a woman who I love very, very much by the name of Kang Hyun-nam. Alright, so I think I've spoken enough about the characters, the bullies, our protagonists, some of the characters she meets along the way to help her execute her plan of revenge. So now for this portion of the video, I want to get into some of my thoughts and reactions to The Glory Part 1. Now, this section of the video I do not recommend watching if you have not watched the entirety of Part 1 of The Glory, just because it's completely filled of spoilers and things that happen basically in the last few episodes. Alright, so the first thing I want to discuss is who murdered Son Myeong Oh. Now, a part of me for a split second did think it could have been Moon Dong-eun herself, because at the beginning of episode 5 there was this whole bit about Dong-eun's translation of Myeong Oh's tattoo on his neck, and at the very end of the episode, after we are shown Myeong-eun getting brutally attacked and killed, of Dong-eun finally relaying the translation of the tattoo, makes her look very suspicious. But then again, honestly, her killing Myeong Oh kind of doesn't really check out, because when Dong-eun finally runs into Myeong Oh after all these years, she quickly relays to him that he is simply just a pawn in her game of revenge, because Myeong Oh doesn't exactly have a lot to lose, and therefore nothing for Dong-eun to gain. Now this brings us to another culprit who I've considered could be Yeon Jin. And I think a lot of people are on the Yeon Jin did it train, because in the show, after Myeong Oh is killed, Yeon Jin is shown rocking a very mysterious cut on her foot that the viewers have absolutely no idea how she got. Now, the way that Myeong Oh was showed getting viciously attacked implies that there could have been a struggle, hence an injury to the assailant. Another reason I think I expect, and a lot of other viewers expect, Yeon Jin to be the murderer of Myeong Oh is because Dong-eun literally sends Myeong Oh over to Yeon Jin to basically get a murder confession out of her for killing one of their fellow female classmates whom Yeon Jin bullied as well. Also, when Myeong Oh's body is shown laying lifeless on the ground, the viewers can catch a glimpse of a woman with green shoes walking away from the crime scene. A pair of green shoes that Yeon Jin owns. However, what's tricky is Yeon Jin is not the only woman who owns these green pair of shoes. It's really tricky to say exactly who killed Myeong Oh, but I'm actually open to it being another one of those whodunit plot twists in which perhaps every single one of the friends had a hand in killing Myeong Oh. But I'm super interested in part 2 to see exactly who Myeong Oh's murderer is revealed to be. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was basically the whole love triangle situation that I foresee maybe turning deadly between Yeon Jin, Jae Jun, and Yeon Jin's husband. I mean, I stated before, Jae Jun is a man with a very dangerous temper and kind of scary side to him. We may see him like go full on rage mode, probably on either Yeon Jin's husband or Yeon Jin herself. I really feel like he may snap and harm one of the two, and he has like a huge motivation to do so because Yeon Jin has been keeping it a secret from both men, Jae Jun and her husband, about who the real father is. I feel like as Jae Jun has quickly pieced together that Yeol is more than likely his daughter, things may get ugly in that trio. And I'm actually also curious to see how the whole relationship between Moon Dong-eun and Ju Yo-jung plays out and see just exactly where it goes. We saw how he was finally filled in on everything that happened to Moon Dong-eun and since then had pledged to help her seek her revenge. So I'm curious to see, will he kill for her maybe even? He's working in the medical field, saving lives. So to take a life, that would be that would be interesting. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how that plays out and how much further their relationship develops. That completes my analysis and review so far on The Glory Part 1. If you'd be interested in seeing me make another video about Part 2 that's coming out I think in March, please let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up, as well as subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you're notified every time I post. But let me know your thoughts on The Glory Part 1. Who do you think killed Myeong Oh? Do you have any predictions for what you think will happen in Part 2 and how the series will come to a crashing end? Just let me know. And with that being said, guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!